I'm Frank Gehry, and this is my masterclass. From jazz, the greatest thing I've heard anybody say is Wayne Shorter, who said, "You can't rehearse what you ain't invented yet." And it's so true, because the creative process is, when you're doing a building, you're trying to pull it out of somewhere. And it's like jazz. You respond and you work intuitively to create something. And it evolves, and often it just starts to appear, like, you don't know where it's coming from. And you go with it. You trust it. You don't leave it. You don't overthink it. You just go with it, and it takes you somewhere. It's a great experience. When you're finished, you look at it, you say, where the hell did that come from? How did I get that? God damn it, that's so great, Don't tell anybody I didn't know what I was doing. We had a physics teacher, Joe Noble was his name, in the 11th grade. We would stay after school, he would stay after school, and we would sit and talk about all these kind of things. And he egged us on. We used to fantasize some crazy things, like, this is crazy, okay? So if you have two trains coming on the track, they're equal size, and they hit each other, what happens? They stop dead, right? So now you have the same one train, and then you have half a train, and you hit it, so then this gets pushed that way a little bit. And so as this train gets smaller and smaller, this train pushes it further, but they always stop it. So then we wondered if a fly could stop the train, taking that logic. Well, we spent months thinking about that. People still remind me and make fun of me from that period. Obviously, a fly can't stop a train, but we really believed it could back then. I think that's important, is to take the risk of doing something, even though you know, oh, come on, you're never going to stop a fly. A fly's going to stop a train. But let's see how big a thing has to be to stop the train. Where's the line? And then what can you do with that information? So there are similarities when you project images. Like now we're doing a house with a brick facade. The brick doesn't hit the ground, it's in suspension. That's stupid to do that, because the brick is heavy, you shouldn't do that. So we were gonna kill it, we weren't gonna do it. And then I couldn't get it out of my mind, I couldn't stop. So now the house is being designed, and the client loves it so far. And it's working. We're making it work. Create the logic for it as you go. And it's like doing something with brick that hasn't been done, I don't think. Why do it, though? Why would you do that? Why pursue it? Why? Because it goes back to this background for humanity. It's background for living. It's a different kind of expression, and it gives a different stage set, if you will. And brick has all kinds of connotations to people. And so they haven't seen it done like this. So they'll accept it because it's a material they know. And then you start to stretch it into another place. If you're relentless, you can make the fly that stops the train. There is a moment of truth where you make the first move, where the artist faces the white canvas. I think it's exhilarating, and usually it comes out okay, not always. And I have trouble sometimes going back. I mean, I'll see something I did 10 years ago that looks better than what I'm working on now, and I freak out. I wonder why I abandoned that early thing. I had it, and I left. The train left the station, we went somewhere else. And I think it's because once you've done it, you feel dishonest somehow of taking something you've already done for something and using it again. It feels like a weakness. So, and that may be an issue that we should all talk about, because it's probably not a weakness and probably something that would be worth doing. But, you know, our culture says, well, you don't want to repeat yourself, but everything has to be different and new and changed. Mies van der Rohe, one of the best architects of the last century, did the same building over and over again. And you wonder what joy he had in it. Why did he do it? I never met him, so I couldn't ask him. But then you take the time to go look at those buildings, like the Lakeshore Towers are the black steel buildings. And guess what? They come down to the ground and sit on a piece of travertine that's 1 7/8 inch thick. And it's just this platform, and it's so powerful. So there are these little victories, these little things that's a big deal. You know, nobody's repeated it even. It's so beautiful and elegant, and, you know, I'd like to hug him for just that. Often we indulge ourselves with the issue of creative block. I find that an inexcusable position. It's all creative block. You're always blocked. It's never different. And if you succumb to it and quantify it and name it, I can't think of it. Oh my God, I can't think of it. I don't have an idea. Oh, I gotta go rest. I gotta take a weekend off. And that's all baloney, I think. I think you're always in creative block. It's a waste of time. So my advice is forget about creative block and just assume you're always blocked and you don't know what the hell you're doing anyway. So just keep trying things and things will evolve. Henry James, I think, said that creativity is like having a big stick in a deep barrel of something, and you turn the stick and turn it around and turn it around. You pull it up and look, and all of a sudden, there's a great idea. I think it's that ephemeral, it's that magical, it's that stupidly primitive and interesting and exciting. Creative block is an excuse out of fear for delaying, for procrastination. And I don't think it's relevant. I think you should forget about it. You can have epiphanies where you have ideas, but I don't trust them right away. I want to test them. So it's not a eureka moment. It's more like this looks interesting. Let's see where it goes. It varies because designing a building is over a period of time. And so some days I hate it. And I look at it and I find that a positive thing. And we call it that in the office. We say we got to look at it long enough till we hate it. we take the next step from there. And I have sleepless nights about it. I actually wake up at night and worry that we're not going to get there. There's a lot of anxiety with it, I think. You got to take the risk. A typical work day, I think it's every day is atypical, but it's changed as I've gotten older and as the office has gotten better organized, and we're always in touch. So there's not a lot of, except for the sleeping hours, there's not a lot of detachment. I get messages on into the night, especially from Europe and places where we're working. Typically, I go in and complain about everything. I sort of make the rounds. I visit on the projects that I know are waiting for my work, my being there. On a good day, when everything's working, I'll go for 2 or 3 projects during the day. I don't break for long lunches or anything. The office does, but I don't usually. It's 15 minutes at the most, unless we have a lunch meeting. I like to get into it and work. As I've said before, you don't know where you're going. It's like Wayne Shorter said, you can't rehearse what you ain't invented. So we make models, and so while I'm not there, the models are being remade based on the meeting that day, and then we sit with the new model and agonize about what we like and what we don't like. And sometimes I'll wait till everybody's gone and I'll spend time alone, like they did the other day. I went to the office and there was nobody there, and I spent 3 or 4 hours just looking at the model. And then the next day when the staff was there, I was able to talk about where to go because I digested it somehow. Now I couldn't write you down a series of events or of decisions that were made that led to because it is like jazz. You are experiencing things as you go and modifying your thinking moment by moment as you make a decision and then look at it and then make the next move and then make the next move and then build on it and then you look at it until you get angry with it, and then that allows you to go forward. We just keep looking at it and see the things that are sort of personal cliches that we've done before, or things that we don't want to repeat, or just don't like certain relationships, and you keep pushing things and looking at it, talking about it with the crew, getting their feelings, listening to, taking a bunch of phone calls. There's a lot of procrastination as you go because you find you're starting to get somewhere and then you're not sure about it, and then you take a call or allow yourself to be interrupted because you're not sure where you're going, and then you build up enough courage to go back. It's an interesting process. I don't know how it's perceived by others as they see it, but I think overall the people in the office get to understand and learn to play with me.